Okay, welcome back. And on this particular class, we're going to be talking about how to use merging, joining, and concatenations. Right? It's basically like you're using joins and sets in SQL. So before we get started, you know what we need to do? We have to import pandas into our notebook. So we imported pandas, and I remember telling you that to create a data frame. It's kind of like a dictionary with the values, the key as the name of the column, and the values as a list of the numbers of rows in that particular column, right? And each rows have to be correspond with the numbers of rows, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, has to be the same for each of the items on that dictionary. Okay, so this is how you create a data frame without importing it. So I'm going to create 1 and 2. Then I'm going to say, okay, use the data frame method of pandas and create a data frame with the data 1. So, and I'm going to say, okay, use index 0, 1, 2, and 3. I don't have to specify it actually. It would work on its own. The only time I need to specify it is when I want to use a different index other than 0, 1 to 3, because 0, 1 to 3 to infinity is the default index, so I don't need to specify it. So when I run this, so my data frame has been imported. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is the merge. So what the merge does, the merge simply combines two data frames on a particular item, right? You can specify the item, the column name you want to merge on. Ideally, you use merge because merge is easier and it's a little bit faster than join, right? You use merge as opposed to join. Merge simply just picks any of the item and simply merge it. So what is going on is it's merging the data frame 1, the items in data frame 1, which I could literally show you right here. This is data frame 1, the first data frame, and then the data frame 1, right? So we have Kate here, then let's see for 1. I think we have some items that are repeating themselves. I think so. Yeah, the Kate is repeating. Eta is repeated. I think that's basically it. So when we merge, the default merge is Shift Tab to see the method. So the merge, we have our right, that is the data frame on the right that we are going to add to the data frame on the left. The R, this R is when you specify if it's going to be an inner join, an outer join, a cross join, a full join, right? So we have your inner, your on. On is where you specify the particular column you are going to be, the particular index you are going to be joining your rows together on. So you have your left on, which is the column you are joining on the left and the column you are joining on the right. You have your left index, your right index, your sort, your prefix, your copy. So we're going to just focus on 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be our major focus for now. So by default, it joins on, it does an inner join. So when I do this and I run it, you see it did an inner join, which it took. Let's see if I can have both at the same time if it's possible. Is it? Okay, no, it's not possible. I will need to, okay. I think I can drop this down and move this all the way down here. Okay. Yeah. So what the inner join did, it took what was common here and what was common here and just created a new table with this, because it looks at everything. It looks the ID, the name, the age, all of the columns in that first row is the same as the value here. This is also the same as this, but with this it's not the same. You can see the for tier, the salary is, I think the salary is different or something. Let's run it again. Get it. Let's see what's different. 10, 10, 10. Link. Let's run this again. I think I'm running the same thing over. I think I'm running. So it's just these two things that are the same. Right? The rest is different. So the inner join simply joins on that. So you can also specify, instead of using the inner merge, and say okay, by default it's inner. And you can also say change it from out to outer. Then if you need to know more on this, you can simply go to the documentation. Like I always said, documentation is your friend. Go to the Pandas documentation, then check on what you need to know, right? So I can say outer, then run this. So the outer join gives us every single value. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. These two are common. Then these two. So we should have about 6 values there. If we have six values there. So you can also specify the column. As it is now, we're not really specifying what column we are merging on, right? It's just combining the two results on all of the column. Since both columns are the same, right? It's just combining it on all of the columns. Since we have this column, this column, this column, both of them are the same, just combine on all of the column. But if I specify, okay, merge on, do an outer merge on, let's say, on employee ID, I think that's good. Let's copy this, import to, I think this is cool. Okay, so we are merging on employee ID. So it's telling us X is for the first column, right? Okay, the X is for the column at the data frame at the left, which is this one. This is the data frame at the right. So X is for this one here. So we have X for name, age, Y. So if I go down, obviously I'm getting none. That's not a number. Because in our X part, there is no name there's no name here. Like there's no name with this particular ID on the X data frame, right? Data frame at the left, because you have your left, this is your left, this is your right. So I can also merge in on multiple at once. Let's think. I will need to copy everything. Okay, this would work on this. Let's see. Then name as well. On this. So I've merged on this and this. By default, it merges on all of them, right? It merges on all of them. If they are common, right? If they have the same name, the same employee ID, the same age, it's going to merge. Okay, this one has employee ID, both of them has employee ID and name and age. It's going to merge on all of them, unless they don't have the same column. So this was what I was going to show you here. Let me just paste this over here and just remove this. Okay, this is better. It's basically the same thing, right? So next thing we're going to talk about is join. The join does the same function as the merge, but the merge is a little bit more easier to work with. For the join, you have to specify. Join doesn't just work on columns. It works only on the index. And like when you join, it joins on what is your index. Like this, if I'm going to join, it's going to join on 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5. If I'm going to join these two values together. So let me just show you what I mean. So data frame dot join, then data frame 1. Okay. I think I also need to specify what is the error. I think I could get an error. Column overlap, but no suffix specified. So the first thing you notice is that there's a column overlap, which means I'm having ID, I'm having name, I'm having age, and I'm having salary in both of them, but I'm not specifying. Like the merge automatically specifies, okay, this is for the left and this is for the right, right? But for join, I need to specify, okay, what am I going to put at the left? What am I going to put at the right? So let me check the name, get it right from there. Scroll all the way up, I think. Okay, L suffix, which is left suffix. I'm gonna put, let me use left. Then right suffix, R suffix. I'm just going to use R. I'm just going to use right. Okay, I think this is okay now. Let me run this. Okay. Let me add a bit of underscore to separate it. Just a little. And this always joins on the rows, right? So it's joining it on this index, right? It's joining on this index, and it is let me check on this index. Okay, it's using a left join. It's using, by default, it's using a left. Let me change it to, or how to inner. Am I getting the same thing? Okay, it's using the same thing because it's always going to be 0, 1, 2, 3 because it's merging on the index is 0, 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't matter how I do this, how it's going to keep merging on that. But for you to see the difference, I'm just going to copy this. Then what I'm going to do is change my index, right? Set index. I'm going to set it to, let me set it to employee ID. Just copy this. Then grab this again, copy this, right over here, paste this. Okay, and say on inner, and I run this. As you can see, it's doing an inner join on my employee ID, which is my index. Join only works on the index, whilst merge works on each of the column. So ideally you want to use merge because merge is a bit easier for you to work with. So the last thing we're going to talk about is concatenation. Let me see, how does that work again? I think it works with pd.concat. Let me see if this is correct. Okay, this is it. So the way it works, it's you pass in the data frame you're trying to concatenate, bd, comma, df1. Then I think you should run this. Let's see what happens. Okay. I think this will be in a list. In this, let's see if this works. Okay, it's working. So you have to put it in a list. The two identity, the two things you're trying to concatenate, and then you have to assign it to it. If you want to get it as a new data frame, now you have to assign it to data frame 2, for example. I'm basically just adding the first data frame, this one on the left to this one on the right. So you're just adding it. That's why you see 0, 1, 2, 3, then again 0, 1, 2, 3. The way easier is the way it is, just basically adding it, right? You're not really doing any fancy thing on it. And you can also switch from adding on the x-axis, which is on the rows, to adding it on the columns. You can see you can set your axis from rows to column. See, axis is equal to 1. I think 1 is it. I think 1 is better than EF2. Yeah. So an example of what you use is, say you have a list of contacts that you're going to call, and they give you an already existing list and of contacts they've already cleaned, and they've said, okay, this is the call list. And you're given a new list from maybe the website where users fill in their details and if they want to be called or not. So when they give you the list, you clean it. What you need to do is not to manually add the new contact, the new list of prospects. You can just, the former list, copy it, then add both the old list and the new list together, then export it to whoever is going to make the call. Right, so essentially you've been able to add the first list, your initial list of maybe 1,000 contacts, to the new list you've cleaned, maybe another 1,000 contacts. You add them together, export and send it back to whoever needs the list, like that. So this concatenation is very useful. So please remember to practice, and if you have any questions, you should go to your documentation. You will see even more uses. You can search any of the method I'm using, like the concat. You can search it and to bring up whatever you need to know. Okay, I think cat and compare, concatenation and compare. Okay, so there's a lot of methods here, but these are the major ones you mainly use. I think we'll talk a little bit on pivot table during our project. I will do a little bit on pivot tables. It's basically the way pivot table work in Excel. That's how it's going to work here as well. So till then, make sure to study up.